Hey folks, thanks for tuning in today, watching my channel. Today I want to talk to you about one of the best books I've ever read. And I'm a little partial because I wrote it. But it's called Queenie, The Legend of Lake Istokpoga. Now, I got to tell you, I'm not a writer. I never claimed to be. I've managed somehow to write 7 different books. Uh, some of the books are just short stories. I wrote for the newspaper for years, and I took a lot of the stories that I'd written in my column, fishing column, kind of turned those into different chapters. But Queenie is different. Queenie was kind of one of those things you do once in your lifetime. It was a book that I had started with my younger brother a long, long time ago, and we had talked about all the things that might happen to a bass that's trying to survive in a lake, and all the hazards really of being a small fish and trying to grow up to be a big fish. But today I want to talk a little bit more about why I wrote the book, why I wrote Queenie, The Legend of Lake Istokpoga, and why you should read it. You know, when you get to be my age, and I'm pushing 78, you start thinking about things differently. You don't think about the fish you caught. You think about the ones that changed you. And for me, that fish was Queenie. Now, if you've ever fished Lake Istokpoga, that's my favorite lake in Highlands County, Florida, you already understand something. That lake isn't just water, pads, and reeds. It's history. It's heartbreak. It's 10-pound dreams swimming under lily pads. And somewhere in the water lives a legend. That's why I wrote Queenie, The Legend of Lake Istokpoga. Not because I needed to write a fishing book. I've written plenty of those, and I've written plenty of stories about fishing, but I've never written about one particular fish. And because some stories simply refuse to die, I strongly recommend you take a look at Queenie. So that fish was actually bigger than a fish. Every angler has the one that broke off, the one that rolled beside the boat, the one that made your knees weak. But Queenie wasn't just a bass. She was what happens when time, pressure, Florida genetics, and survival all come together. Down here, we don't grow small bass, not in the water. Istokpoga has always had the reputation for whispers of double-digit fish, the kind that make grown men act like teenagers again. Queenie represents that. She was the fish we all chase but rarely meet. At 77, you start realizing something. It's not really about the weight of the fish anymore. It's about the weight of the memory. When I was younger, it was about tournaments, about numbers, about proving something. Now, it's all about meaning. Legends like Queenie remind us why we started fishing in the first place. Before forward-facing sonar, before $90,000 boats, before we needed 5 graphs on the console. We just needed a rod, a Florida sunrise, and the possibility that today could be that day. And Istokpoga, it's not just a lake. Istokpoga is a mood. It's a fog lifting off of shallow flats. It's wind pushing across miles of pads. It's long runs through trails that only locals understand. The lake has humbled me. It's rewarded me. It's frustrated me, and it's taught me patience. You don't conquer Lake Istokpoga. You survive it. And every once in a while, if you're lucky, she lets you meet Roldy. And that's where Queenie was born. I wrote this book because it was too late. Here's something we don't talk about enough as older anglers. Stories disappear. Fishing partners pass. Memories fade. Details blur. I've buried friends who knew parts of the story. Men who fished that water when the hydrilla was thick, when the bass were fatter, when we were all younger. And one day I realized something. If I don't write this down, it's going to die with me. because Queenie wasn't just my story. She belongs to every angler who's ever made one more cast. There's something poetic about chasing a giant bass at this stage of life. You know your casts aren't as strong, your balance isn't what it used to be. You think twice about stepping across the deck in a heavy wind. But the desire is stronger than ever. Queenie represents unfinished business. She represents the belief that even in your 70s, maybe especially in your 70s, you can still hook into something extraordinary. And maybe that's the real reason I wrote the book. It's not about a fish. It's about hope. Some people ask, is she real? Did you weigh her? Where's the picture? And here's my answer. Legends don't need validation. They don't need witnesses. Istokpoga has always been a lake of whispers, stories told at boat ramps, in bait shops, in parking lots after weigh-ins. I wanted to capture that feeling, that mystery, because mystery is what keeps us launching at daylight. This book is also a thank you. A thank you to Florida. A thank you to shallow water, to wild places that still feel untamed. Istokpoga isn't manicured. It isn't easy. It isn't predictable. It is real. And at my age, I appreciate real more than ever. And what I hope it means to you, if you're younger, I hope it makes you chase Queenie. If you're my age, I hope it reminds you that the story isn't over. And if you've ever stood on the front deck at daylight, thinking to yourself, this might be the cast, then you already understand why I wrote this book. Because some lakes deserve a legend, and some legends deserve to be remembered. If you're interested in reading the book, folks, it's available on Amazon under the name Queenie, the Legend of Lake Istokpoga. I also have a website under D.O. Norton Books. You can also go there to buy it. And if you happen to be down in Florida visiting, or if you live down here in Highlands County, I've got the book at a half a dozen different places down here where you can pick up a copy and enjoy it for yourself. It's really a great book. You know, I'm pretty proud of the fact that I didn't write the book. I didn't write it for fame. I didn't write it for the money, because God knows I haven't made any money from it. And I didn't write it for proof. But because at 77, I've learned that stories are the only fish we get to keep forever. And Queenie, she was worth keeping. Still have folks ask me if she's swimming around in Lake Istokpoga. She might be. I can't tell you for sure, but I'd like to think she's still down there. So if you get a chance, get down to Highlands County, Florida. Enjoy everything we have to offer. And if you have the time, get out on Lake Istokpoga and see if you can find her. If you do, it'll be a story worth telling. Thanks for watching my video today. And I hope you enjoyed the story. And I hope you'll think about buying the book and reading it, because you'll be glad you did. Thanks again, and I wish you great success in your fishing.